Tonight, RTV6 is holding local planning leaders accountable for a traffic situation that's getting on everyone's nerves and possibly leading to crashes. The risky roundabout causing concern.
Residents getting the runaround, so they turn to RTV6 for help. We work to find out who is responsible for this unusual flooding and whether it will be fixed anytime soon.
Are you able to get out?
Yes, we're already out, but there's still people on the third floor with babies.
Terrifying moments caught on 911 audio as residents of a burning building coming together to save two small children and their mother trapped on the top floor. How their heroic efforts saved lives.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Thank you for being with us this evening. I'm Amanda Starrentino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Tonight, we begin with a case that has disturbed a local college today.
Franklin College has fired its president after he was arrested on child sex crime charges. Wisconsin authorities say Thomas Minor was arrested January 6th for use of a computer to facilitate a sex crime along with child enticement. He was later released on bond. Franklin College says its board of trustees was stunned by the arrest.
The college saying, quote, "The safety of Franklin students is always our highest priority," so the college is launching an investigation into Minor's conduct as president. In the meantime, Provost and Dean Lori Schroeder will serve as interim director. Minor announced last June that he would be leaving Franklin this year, so the search for a new president already began months ago.
Drivers in Pendleton are concerned about an area that is supposed to be in the process of being improved.
They tell RTV6 more crashes are happening as construction continues. RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you to find out the town's plan for that area.
Getting off the interstate and heading straight into a roundabout is throwing some drivers for a loop.
It's a little confusing at times.
As drivers make their way into Pendleton, they are met with a construction project. The roundabout near the exit is new as the result of a partnership between INDOT and the town of Pendleton. The reason the circular intersection was put in the first place was to improve safety and work on the flow of traffic. Some people think it's doing just the opposite.
I can see how people are getting into accidents.
Crashes keep happening at 700 West State Street exit near Enterprise, sometimes 2 and 3 happening within hours of each other. Brandon Evans says he welcomes change, but says if people aren't familiar with the area, it's a recipe for disaster.
They're not paying attention.
The town's planning department says they've been watching the area for some time now, and they agree extra signage is needed. They say signs like a no U-turn sign are going up right away to keep drivers from making illegal turns and potentially causing crashes. Even once the signage is added, the town says they plan on keeping a close eye on the area to monitor the flow of traffic here.
Hopefully it'll be fixed soon.
Working for you in Pendleton, Troy Washington, RTV6.
RTV6 is staying on top of flooding problems affecting people on the northeast side who say they're angry their apartment complex isn't doing more.
Ever since Saturday, people at Waterside of Castleton have been trapped in their homes dealing with flooded cars. Water from a nearby pond has overflowed into the lots where a pump has been set up in a trash can. We talked to several frustrated residents, including Dwight Washington Jr.
Yeah, he says the short-term fix is better than nothing, but there's one thing he and his neighbors want from the apartment managers more than anything else.
First and foremost, communication. We're all in the dark. We don't know anything. We've called several times back and forth. We've all come out here and we've had conversations with each other, but I mean, still nothing.
And residents initially told us the apartment complex blamed the city and INDOT for the flooding, but INDOT crews double-checked today and found the issue is not on their end. We are still trying to get a response from the apartment complex about what managers are going to do to fix this problem.
Well, we started looking into this problem after people reached out to us via email. If there's something affecting your quality of life, connect with RTV6. Give us a call or send us a message to workingforyou@rtv6.com.
A crisp, cool evening in central Indiana, and we are enjoying some dry conditions.
Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is tracking what's in store for the evening.
And that's a highlight, isn't it? Dry weather, and we've got a dry 24 hours in progress as we go through tomorrow. Temperature today hit 42 for the afternoon high temperature. Haven't changed too much since then. There it is, your big headline. We don't see rain again until Wednesday, and that should be light rain. Temperature down to 37 in Castleton, New Powell, and Hancock County at 35. 4 degrees warmer in Martinsville. These temperatures fairly typical for this time of the year. The average high is 35 degrees. Again, tomorrow, we'll see a surge in temperatures. They'll be coming up. The wind out of the southwest, anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour, will draw in the warmer temperatures, and we should hit the low 50s by early afternoon. We'll still be in the tug of war with the clouds and sunshine, but I think we'll see at least some sun, and maybe you did this evening as well with the setting sun. Okay, we'll talk about other changes by the end of the week into the weekend coming up.
The truck driver charged with causing a crash that killed a woman and her infant daughters will not go to trial. Bruce Pollard has pled guilty but mentally ill on 3 counts of reckless homicide plus additional charges. Pollard is accused of driving into stopped traffic on I-465 near Keystone Avenue in July, causing a fiery crash that killed 3 people and injured several others. The plea agreement calls for Pollard to be sentenced to 3 to 9 years behind bars. Both sides have agreed to the plea deal, but a judge will have the final say.
A woman is forced to choose between flames and tossing her young children out of a window. Newly released 911 calls show the pure fear for people trying to evacuate a burning apartment building this past weekend on the northeast side. The fire department says at least 12 people called within just a few minutes, reporting the fire at the Pangea Prairies Apartments near 46th and Arlington Friday night. Many of the calls focusing on the efforts to save that mother and her 3-year-old and her 7-month-old.
There's a lot of houses in there. Y'all need to hurry up.
Anybody? Baby's out the window.
They're throwing the baby out the window?
Yes, we got the babies.
The evacuated residents were able to come together and safely catch the children, and then the mother also. Everyone is okay after that fire, but IFD crews had a lot of trouble getting the flames extinguished.
Advocates say this change could help more individuals drive without fear. Immigrant leaders and allies gathered at the State House today to encourage Indiana legislators to prioritize making a license to drive available for undocumented immigrants. Organizers say a driving card has become one of the most basic forms of protection against family separation as immigrants work to obtain legal status here in Indiana. Advocates there today included people who have been protected by DACA or deferred action for childhood arrivals, like 24-year-old Danny.
Even though I'm safe for the moment with my license, I know hundreds of people who are not, who feel like they don't even have the basic dignity of being able to make any sort of transaction, whether it's at the bank, at school, to pick up their kids.
Right now, there are 14 states that already provide driving privileges to undocumented immigrants, including our neighbor, Illinois. Coming up, this strain of flu is so bad it caused a little girl to go blind. What doctors say you can do to try to avoid the same risk.
Plus, a little bit later on, his grandmother was diagnosed with dementia, so he turned around and designed an app. How this technology makes sure caregivers stay on the same page. Still ahead when the news continues on RTV6.
Weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m.
A new warning for parents this flu season after the virus left an Iowa girl blind.
4-year-old Jade Phillips is recovering from influenza B. Her parents say at first she just seemed a little bit tired, but she was eating and playing normally otherwise. But a few days later, they found her unresponsive in her bed and rushed her to the hospital. Turns out the flu caused swelling in her brain, which has now affected her vision. Jade's mom says the family got flu shots last spring. She thought that would cover them for a year. The CDC recommends getting the vaccine each fall for the upcoming flu season.
The popularity of CBD products led to a banner year for the country's hemp growers, but they say a new federal proposal could put them back at square one. At issue is testing for THC that's found in both marijuana and hemp plants. In order to be legally classified as hemp, plants must have THC levels lower than 0.3%. The new proposals would create strict timelines and testing requirements. Farmers argue the rules would make it nearly impossible for anyone to grow federally compliant hemp. The USDA will continue taking public comment until the end of this month. Any new rules would not go into effect until next year.
You may be able to cast your vote later in the day this election year if a bill in the General Assembly becomes law. The bill would change Indiana's current poll closing time from 6 to 8 p.m. Republican lawmaker Tim Wesco is sponsoring the bill. He says Kentucky and Hawaii are the only states that also close their polls that early. Supporters say the extension would boost voter turnout in Indiana, but some county clerks say they're concerned that the change would make it more difficult to find enough poll workers.
Coming up, sanctuary cities for Second Amendment rights, why the debate over gun control is borrowing this immigration term. Still ahead.
38 now. One of the changes, warmer temperatures tomorrow. A big change back to winter, though, is within the 7-day planner.
300 Empire. Today. This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
United in the fight against gun violence.
The group Moms Demand Action gathered at the State House today to send a message to Indiana lawmakers to sponsor bills that will change gun laws. According to the CDC, in 2017, firearms were the #2 killer of children and teens in the United States. So today, these moms wore red to get the attention of legislators. At least one of those lawmakers has plans.
Senator Mark Stoops authored Senate Bill 29, which would require guns to be secured if a child could gain access to it. If someone lives in the home who is prohibited from possessing a firearm, and if someone lives in the home who possesses an imminent risk to themselves or others.
Well, you may have heard this term before, sanctuary cities. It usually involves the debate over immigration and refers to cities that won't seek out and arrest undocumented migrants.
But now the phrase sanctuary cities is taking on a whole new meaning, this time in the debate over gun control. Maya Rodriguez has this story.
When it comes to gun control in America, no state is confronting the issue harder right now than Virginia.
Virginia is officially blue. Congratulations.
Virginia elected and just swore in a new state legislature controlled by Democrats, and they're vowing to pass gun control measures. That's prompting some local governments to make their own moves by declaring themselves Second Amendment sanctuary cities and counties.
We're proud to live in a county that recognizes our rights and tries to protect them during the new coming political year.
So far, more than 100 cities and counties in Virginia have declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries. And they're not the only ones. From Florida to Colorado to Nevada and elsewhere, local municipalities are voting in favor of designating themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries. But what does it even mean? Georgetown law professor Mary McCord says what each declaration says varies from place to place.
County officials or city officials will not enforce state law that implicates or regulates in any way, shape, or form gun ownership. Others are simply espousing a support for Second Amendment rights.
In the end, she says, Second Amendment sanctuaries do not hold up to legal scrutiny.
And they really have no legal effect. In Virginia, for example, the Virginia Constitution and Virginia state law is very clear that it is the General Assembly of the entire state, not of any particular locality, the General Assembly that makes the general laws, and that those laws are supreme. And any local ordinances, resolutions, etc., that are inconsistent with those laws are void and have no effect.
Virginia's Attorney General has concluded the same thing and added that any gun control measures passed by the state legislature will be enforced. I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
Time now for your Storm Team 6 forecast. And Kevin was saying earlier that we may have some more winter-like weather in the 7-day.
It looks a little bit more like winter by the end of the week.
Teens for lows and highs in the 20s. That'll do it.
Hello, January.
And I guess the problem is that we've been up here so much that anything close to winter will feel even colder than it usually would. Now, I talk about beyond what you're seeing here, but tomorrow and Wednesday, temperatures at 50 or a little above will drop down Thursday and Friday. This is where it gets interesting because there'll be moisture surging our way. Will the temperatures come up enough that it will just be rain, or will it start as snow? Then change to rain as we get to Saturday, and temperatures are back well into the 40s. Next 3 days, temperatures mild for 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. Our chance for rain on Wednesday, not overwhelming, not expecting heavy rainfall. Definite temperature change, though, as we get to Thursday. Tomorrow is still dry. That gives us a few more hours here to let kind of things settle. Wednesday, rain chances are back, should be light rain. A more significant event as we get to Friday and Saturday. Some of that will include snow mixing with rain, and then maybe a little wintry mix as it all ends later on Saturday. Well, the lights of the city in control now. We got a nice little breeze. Temperatures, they won't change much from what we're looking at now. If you walk outside, temperatures middle to upper 30s. That's where they should be as we get together tonight at 11 o'clock as well. Remaining dry, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, we'll work on 45 degrees by noon, 50 the afternoon goal. Some spots may climb just above the 50-degree mark, especially as you get to the south. As far as cloud cover, look at all the clouds first thing in the morning. As we get to early afternoon, we begin to see some breaks in the cloud cover. They become a little more pronounced as we get later in the day tomorrow. Before sunset, we may have a little more sunshine to see. Tuesday, temperatures from 50 to the low 50s. The change Wednesday we told you about, that will come with our chance for showers. But remember when I said it wasn't overwhelming? Not all of us will see rain in the middle of the week. The chance about 40%. There's the cloud cover, the spotty showers around through the day. Late in the day, though, skies will begin to clear, and those showers will signal the transition from temperatures well above average to cooler conditions. Friday, snow mixing with or changing to rain by Saturday, 45 degrees. Some of this rain could be a little bit heavy, 1 to 2 inch rainfall potential. Then on Sunday, cold and dry, 27 degrees. Morning lows, Sunday and Monday should be in the teens, highs in the 20s as we dry out once again after the next event. In quotes, on Friday and Saturday.
Is that in quotes?
In quotes, yeah, because we'll have some snow with it, maybe some accumulating snow, then a wet mess as we go over to all rain Saturday.
Clear it out. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Kevin, for that.
Well, caregivers can face monumental challenges every day, and that inspired one teen to create an app to help after seeing the struggles with his grandma.
Our Elizabeth Ruiz found out how this app could be a lifeline for families dealing with dementia.
What's up, Nanny? Nanny! How are you?
Logan Wells and his grandmother are super close.
Oh, we got a big step.
Oh, I know. I can see
it. We like to read. We read all the time. Look at that. There's the bear.
Really?
Really. We also, if there's music on, we'll sing. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. She's a big music person. You want to twirl?
But Logan realizes there will likely come a day when Nanny doesn't remember Logan as her grandson anymore.
8 years ago, my grandmother was first diagnosed with dementia, and it was really challenging seeing the effect it had on her and then the effects it eventually had on my family. Nanny, do you believe this?
Yes, I like it.
Logan's family quickly learned the struggles that come with caregiving, like coordinating care between family members and knowing whether or not she's taken her medication for the day.
Suddenly there's a terrible jolt. They have to save it, don't worry, we just have to watch.
Okay.
So Logan started to problem solve.
I think 14 is when I first came up with it.
5 years ago, Logan came up with the idea to create CareSair.
You just press on it, then all of your caregivers get notified after you add it.
It's a free app that helps caregivers look after a loved one by giving them a platform to track med reports, visits, moods, calendar events, and any other information you'd want family members to know.
So today she was goofy, and you'd write a description of how it went, start time and end time of the visit, and then you could add comments also.
And so then is this like a profile that you guys all share so you can see each other's messages?
Yeah, so at the beginning, you want to make a care team right now?
Sure. Once your care team is created, anyone who's a part of that team will receive notifications whenever somebody adds information.
My hope is that they can have more time they can spend with their loved one instead of managing their loved one.
When Logan created the app, he thought it'd only be useful for his family. But with 5,000 downloads so far, he's happy to know it's making a difference for other families too. Getting to do what she loves. See, Logan will continue to cherish these moments.
We should have a performance, a concert.
In Lexington, Massachusetts.
We're going on the road.
I'm Elizabeth Ruiz reporting.
Still ahead, RTV6 went after answers in one Hamilton County city after people came to us with parking problems.
Now the new changes on the calendar as a result. That's all next, right here on RTV6.
To donate to Goodwill.
Well, new today, we've got a start date on the calendar for a new parking program experiment in one Hamilton County city.
RTV6 first reported last year on issues linked to new parking enforcement technology in Noblesville. Drivers came to us saying it was costly and confusing. The goal with this new pilot program is to simplify the city's parking ordinance by adjusting the hours of enforcement, changing locations of free and time-restricted spaces, and adding new short-term parking. Noblesville leaders say today those new changes will take effect next Monday, January, whatever next Monday is.
20th. I can't read mine.
20th, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
13 plus 7, 20.
Thank you.
What does that thing do?
January 20th.
Keeps track of time. We're almost out of it. I just want to point this out. This is interesting. November, we had above average snowfall. December, above average snowfall. We haven't had any measurable snow so far this month in January, but maybe we'll see that on
Might be coming this
Friday,
week, right?
Friday, yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us here on RTV6 News at 7 o'clock.
We'll be back here at 11.
Good evening.
Thanks for the help.